Good morning, evening, afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. Before we're kicking off to Think Fast, which is going to be happening after this, I believe the information that I've sort of been, a bit of detective work. They're going to be showing off Stardew Valley. That's going to be a race between two different people, as well as a quiz happening on in the background, but we're not there yet. We are still on this Going Places Mobile Mania adventure. Just a brief sort of overlook of what Going Places is, as well as this Mobile Mania. We go around the map. We have a look around the world for region-exclusive games, as well as games that we can take on the go on our mobile devices, which we have been having a lot of fun with Plants vs. Zombies, but we're now going to throw it over to SMMidi. I believe that's the right way of saying it, I hope it is. And he's going to be showing off PinOut, which we haven't really had a game quite like this on the show, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this will go. But SMMidi, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Hib.
Good.
Excited to show off this run.
Well, yeah, what's going to happen? What's this game?
Well, this is PinOut. It's made by the devs of another game called Smash Hit and some others on mobile. It's also got no ads, so it's brilliant, really accessible.
Nice.
Yeah, really lovely indie game, really beautiful graphics. Really excited to show this off.
Awesome. Well, we are ready when you are.
Okay, excellent. We're going to be doing 2 laps of this game, and I guess we'll have a countdown. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Okay, already missing. This is PinOut. It's a vertical scrolling pinball game. Technically, it's an endless runner, so we can go on for as long as the in-game timer will allow us to. But the game technically does loop after 8 areas, so we're going to do those 8 areas, and then because this is race to overtime too, we will do another lap of those 8 areas. But what makes this run a lot more interesting is that there's a lot more time management involved. In any percent, you just sort of go as fast as you can. You take the optimal path basically every time, and if you want to play a bit safe, you can take more time dots. However, here, because we need to beat an entire extra lap, to have as safety, especially for a marathon, I'd like about 700 seconds. So the whole run, I'm basically going to be paying attention to how much I've got on there, and because it is a marathon, I will go for everything to get me as high up as possible. I'm collecting time dots to increase that, and mini games are also going to help, including this one. So there are 4 in the game, and we'll see this one 3 times, so hopefully I can get some decent RNG, because there is a little bit involved. 50 plus would be nice.
You can get at the moment.
Oh, 37. Oh, that was a bit unfortunate. Yeah, not likely for me to get under 50 nowadays, but we're fine, we're okay. We've still got 2 more of that mini game later on. I can get about 100 if the game wants to be really nice, but that's pretty rare. So we're just going to come straight through here, taking optimal paths there. So paths like that, where it's just a loop to nowhere, of course in any percent we wouldn't really be taking paths like that. This one's a bit interesting. We're going to go this way, didn't quite make it, so we're going to go the other way and go straight into that power-up. The power-ups are predetermined, so there it's going to give us time freeze or slow motion. It's a speedrun, so slow motion is not preferred if we can help it. Time freeze is going to actually stop the timer, so quite a precise one there. We're making it nice. For 10 flips, the timer is not going to move, so it's going to make this a lot easier for us to keep our IGT quite high. Moving on to the next area. Here I'm going to take the slightly slower path because there are a lot more time dots. Here is one of the biggest areas where we want to be prioritizing taking these slower paths to make up the IGT. Not quite getting that one there. So this way is a little bit awkward because there's not really any arrows pointing this way. I don't think I'm going to make it with this one. I think I'll just go the other way because me taking quite a while to actually get the time dots makes it counterintuitive. So I'll just go and ignore those. We're totally fine to do that. So coming up to this power up, this is where in any percent one of the major skips would be. found by one of the other runners. Oh my goodness, of course we got the power up. So I'm not going out of bounds. This is not any percent. So normally in any percent, I would do literally what I just did. So hitting one of those bumpers will send me out of bounds. And actually the instinct to do that is kind of like ingrained in my brain now because of any percent. But we're coming up to Laser Racer here again. But as you can see,
Go ahead. In a pinball game. That was
it's so bizarre
for going places. Wow.
Yeah. Almost went into that car there. We're fine. Yeah. So 56 is okay.
Nice.
So push out of all the power-ups, it lasts a really short period of time. Let me through. Okay, there we go. We're on to a power-up. It lasts a really short period of time. We're going to override it with time freeze. But essentially, when you have the cursor on the screen to aim, that will pause the use of the power-up. So if you're in a really bad situation and you really want it to go backwards, it will pause the timer while you're aiming, and it will also pause the power-up timer. So you could just sit there, and I've been known to sit there for 30 seconds before just to get into better position. Now this is a strange thing. We're going to fall backwards. It sounds weird, but we've got time freeze active, so we're not losing any IGT for doing this. We're going to go and get the other 25 time dots on the checkpoint. So that is going to give us a lot more safety. That is kind of why time freeze is a little important there. It's only really able to be done with 2 or 3 flips remaining at the maximum, so really important that I get that there. Next is another power-up, Motion Link. We're getting these at random, so we can pretty much get any of the other 5 power-ups in the game that are not the other predetermined one. So Motion Link slows our timings a little bit, so I actually hit the wrong cannon that's fine. But essentially what it means is whenever the ball isn't moving, the timer isn't moving. Cannons, essentially you move left or right, and there's always an optimal path. But here we're getting a very slow minigame, it's Space Rocks. And I kind of want to fire as many bullets onto one side before changing over. I can get about, I would say, 30 realistically. I've had 50 or 60 before, but again, that's really pushing it, and again, relying on the game's RNG being nice. So yeah, you can see why this will be your first minigame to cut out if you were trying to optimize this run. 32, okay, that's fine. I'll take that. So yeah, power up has ended there, that's fine. So this is another quite important cannon. We just don't really want to be dealing with that other flipper. Go this way. It looks a little bit weird. The ball slows quite a lot, and that's kind of how soft locks happen. Now, I should mention soft locks because in practice, literally 3 days ago was my first soft lock on a ramp. So I doubt it's going to happen here, but... Oh, okay, that's fine. Yeah, we'll just go back up. Yeah, so that was my first soft lock on a ramp, so hopefully it doesn't happen here. Let's go through. I'm gonna get this secret minigame here. Now, it's not that optimal to go for, but I might as well do it. I might as well show off all 4 minigames. So this is a reference to one of their other games, or Mediocre's other games, which is Does Not Commute. It's basically just a game where people go about their day-to-day lives, but each car is a ghost of the previous car that you drove. Oh. So it's a really cool concept that I didn't realize until someone pointed it out to me. We're losing now, unfortunately. It does get a little bit difficult, but that's kind of a good thing, because if you go all the way, I think it's 7 or 8 laps there, the game will actually glitch and it will not give you your bonuses. You might have noticed I was hitting those 5s there just to give me more points. It will not give you those 5s, so you will just end up with a really small total. So it's just not worth playing that minigame most of the time. And actually, that's the only minigame in PinOut that doesn't have a game center or relevant center leaderboard, pretty much. That might be why, I don't know. But going back to those other 25 time dots there, coming into a very open area, I should point out there's fairly bright lights here, so if that's not great for you, you might want to look away for a couple of minutes. But This is a very interesting area, again, in any percent for one of the major skips of the game. And I'm probably not going to perform it here because I would like to have the time dots that we would normally skip for doing it. Now, here's the only push power-up that is guaranteed from a power-up orb. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and grab some of the time dots, but they are a little slow to grab because it's reducing how much of the push power-up we have. So I will skip most of them. Now, chances are this minigame will not go as good as the others. This is already not looking good. Okay, we avoided it. So this is essentially really RNG based. 4 rockets at once there. Okay. So you won't normally get a brilliant score there. 21's fine. For ages, I couldn't get any more than about 10 there. So here, normally what we would do in any percent, we would skip this cannon, and we're not going to fall back for these 25 time dots. They're really slow here. What you would do there is you'd normally skip the cannon and you'd go through that tiny gap between the flippers leading into the next area. There's a chance of a game crash because you keep on restarting the music. The game just can't cope. But, oh my goodness, okay, apparently we're getting really lucky here. So, all the random power-ups want to give me push. Okay, you know what, we're just going to wait there. That's fine. So, yeah, it doesn't really save too much time, but the thing is with doing it in this run, those major skips, it would skip all of the time dots for the checkpoint bonus and the bumper section. So, it's just not really worth us going for. I need to go the other way here. I'm going to stall for a little bit because I'm not going to make that gate cycle. So all the gate cycles in this game are on sort of local cycles instead of global. So the moment you get to that flipper section, you can do the same thing every time. And as long as the ball goes where you want, it will work. This is the last Laser Racer appearance. So hopefully I can do better than the others. Game's still not being nice. Clearly used up all my luck on push RNG.
It's looking good. You're doing well.
Oh, and we got screwed over again. 67 though is
That's not bad.
yeah, that was pretty good. I did as good as I could there. Here is a little bit strange. So we're going to be taking these slower paths again to get these time dots. Now, the only way to make this optimal for your IGT is to grab everything and pretty much hit everything straight away. I did miss a set there, so it wasn't that good. But in any percent, you would go for these big ramps. They would skip a lot of this area. Here, I'm going to grab another power-up. Now, for this one, we are going to get random or motion link. Time doubler, brilliant. That's exactly what we want. So it does exactly what you would expect. It's also a very long-lasting power-up, but it's going to double all of our time dots. It doesn't double time dots from mini-games. We're going to skip this one, and the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to come up to these checkpoint bonuses, and that is the best point to get time doubler, because as you can see, we're going to get an extra 25 time dots, and if I'm quick enough, we're going to fall back and get an extra 35. So we're essentially a minute ahead of where I expected we would be. So actually, we're in a really good position now. Now, you might be thinking, is it possible to do 3 laps of the game? Well, here, it's kind of possible. The only way I would be able to get close is getting time doubler there. But it would take me at least, 1100 to 1200 seconds to do that. And even then, I would need to be playing on like PB pace without power-ups in the second and third laps. So it's really hard. There's only one person who's got recorded proof of doing Race to Overtime 3, or basically 24,000 score. And they had 30 seconds left over. So it's a ridiculous challenge run. I'm still trying to do it, but maybe one day, Anyway, we're getting a little bit stuck here. There are red balls that are now interfering with us. So they are on really annoying cycles. Basically, every time we want to get through somewhere, they will be in the way, which is kind of, to be honest, good design by the devs. They did exactly what they wanted to achieve with those to get in the way. We're doing space rocks again here. Literally everything about these mini games is the same each time. It's just a different color palette, pretty much. So I'm gonna try and beat the 32 from earlier. Probably played a little bit too risky and didn't change over sides quick enough last time. So I'll try and do better now. So I'm trying to spread the bullets a little bit more. I need to get over. Oh, I didn't kill. Oh, 28. Okay, we're fine. It's still perfectly fine because we're a minute ahead from that time doubler power-up. Now, here, we're getting a lot of respawns because the area is a lot less built up with obstacles. You can fall off much easier here. I need to be on the right side so I can get through. Okay, nice. We didn't get sent to the right side. The only way I can describe that is kind of the board in Mario Party DS, the pinball board, where you get sent to like the lucky side, except that side's unlucky here. Somehow I managed to avoid it this time. I genuinely don't know if it's consistent or not. It just sort of happens. This is a really unforgiving area. So each part that we fail in here, this is the respawn point. So no matter where we fail, that's where we're going to respawn. So this is really brutal when you're first learning. We're going to come through here, get this one, and if we fall back, we should be able to grab those other 25 time dots. The good thing about grabbing that left ramp first is that we can go back, and as long as the game is nice to me, which it is being, we will be able to just get straight onto the other ramp. Sometimes you will just get an unlucky sort of collision and you'll just fall straight down the ramp and have to do the slow way anyway. We're coming through.
Just quickly, we saw a couple of respawns there. I wasn't paying close enough attention to the top of the screen. Does it take away time when you fall off, or not?
Good question. So not really. It only really takes the couple of seconds it takes to respawn. There's not really any other repercussions other than that. So It's not the end of the world. It's just that when you're starting out, it's really awkward to deal with. The timings in this game, it's really hard to familiarize yourself with them, especially because you only have 60 seconds at the start. You could really easily just miss, a few timings on each flipper, get through, miss a few, then get through that one, and you would just slowly drain your time. We're getting slow motion just to end off the power-ups. That's fine, so we can showcase how bad it is. Now, okay, making it through there. So one thing about this game, I've not actually mentioned it yet, is the red, the lines on the floor here, they're red. Now, they slow the ball to a much better speed. The red ball got in the way.
Oh no.
Okay, nice backup. Okay, not supposed to make it through those flippers there, but we're fine. One more mini game if I can hit it. But yeah, there we go. Really easy to just get in a cannon by accident. So yeah, hopefully we can do well here. Never mind. Yeah, if I went below there, I would have survived it, but we're okay. Okay, finishing up. Yeah, so the red lines, as I was mentioning, they slow the ball to a manageable speed. It makes things a lot less reliant on, frame perfect stuff like you might expect. There's no actual frame perfect stuff here. So wherever you have a flipper, it sort of does exactly where you'd expect it to go. Only really a few interactions you can have. There are some occasional strange ones you can get, but most of the time you're just going to go exactly where you want to go. So now we're entering overtime, and you might notice that this is exactly the same as the start of the game, except we have no way of gaining additional time. So we're essentially seeing an any percent lap now. So this is any percent, but with no power-ups, no time dots, and no mini-games. So the only area that really affects is Granular Rainstorm, which is the fifth one, I believe. Yeah, it's the fifth one. So in Granular Rainstorm, that is the really open area that we grab push. Obviously here we can't grab push, and we'll notice just how punishing it is if we get bad collisions. It's probably the most notorious area for those bad collisions, but hopefully we'll be okay. The problem is when you fall backwards there, because it's so open, you don't know where you're going to end up. You're just going to keep falling until you go near a flipper. So looking at the timer, we should be perfectly fine to finish well under estimate, but yeah, this is the second area now. We're seeing obviously there's no time dots to distract us, so I'm just doing the optimal paths, and here we'd like to take the right one, so we skip that extra section, finishing up that second area.
It's funny, somebody in chat was saying it would be cool to see this as a real arcade machine, and I've got a question about logistics and just how we could make that happen. I don't know, the way that
think-
it's sort of going over, it's like we're sort of going over a curve of some sort. So if you can make like a long like conveyor belt that curved over, maybe there's some grounds in making that work.
I was literally just about to suggest a conveyor belt, so maybe that is the solution. Maybe
Great
someone
minds.
should get on this right now. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, that would be really interesting. But yeah, this game's geared a lot more towards score. Score is technically on the speedrun leaderboards, whereas this category isn't right now. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get it added. Right now, the only actual speedrun category is any percent and an IL of stage 1. But I mean, I guess ILs of other stages could be added. It's just that you would need premium to start from those stages. That's the only in-app purchase in this game. Also, really nice detail on this here. I did actually hit that ramp, and normally I would have hit a power-up orb there. So hitting the power-up orb stops the ball, and you would hit the bumper. But in overtime, you have to go through that bottom section. Nice little skip there. You have to go through the bottom section, like between the flippers, otherwise, or between the ramps rather. Otherwise, you're not going to make it through, and you're just going to get stuck unless you have a really precise amount of speed going into it, in which case you might make it through. Getting stuck on that cannon, we're fine.
One thing that I have noticed as well, the way that the score works in this game, do you get 100 per zone? Because I'm seeing what's going on at the bottom, and that looks like a point tally? Or like
pretty much,
tally?
yeah. Yeah, so it is a distance tally, yeah. So it's 1,000 per area, so that's how you know when the game sort of stops. Yeah, so it's 8,000 is technically when overtime starts, but timing would end on the final cannon in Granular Rainstorm. Analog Apotheosis, which is the final area. And all the areas as well, by the way, they're based on the names in the soundtrack, which is also brilliant, by the way. It's just a fantastic soundtrack. Shout outs to the people who made that, and it's available on YouTube and Spotify. So,
oh, nice.
It's just really amazing. There are also a couple of extra ones in there as well. I don't think are in the game, as far as I'm aware. But we've still got 10 minutes on the timer and going into the last 4 areas, so we're totally fine.
On the topic of the score at the bottom, what is your high score? How far have you managed to get?
So my actual high score is, because I was mentioning earlier, I've not been able to do Race to Overtime 3 yet, which is 24,000. I've had between 22 and 23. I think that is recorded proof. The problem is the final, well, when you get to overtime, it's quite easy to get from 16 to 17k because Source, which is the first area, is super quick. It's literally 30 to 40 seconds. And then you get to Area 7, Area 8, which is the final one, and Area 7 is over a minute. Under a minute if it's optimal, but the problem with Race to Overtime 3 is you need so much IGT, and you need to get lucky with power-ups. You need that time doubler where I got it earlier, got those extra checkpoint bonuses.
Yeah.
So it's kind of reliant on RNG, similar to how any percent is right now.
Have the boards got brighter, like, as you've gone through the game? It feels like the bloom is certainly in full effect.
Yeah, so the boards, the areas, they seem a lot more brighter, and we just came through the really bright section. There is an option to turn this down as well. There are 3 graphical options, and honestly, I prefer the lower graphics because it just makes it easier to see what's going on. I did get used to the higher graphics eventually because basically I saw other people bopping my times. Admittedly, they also run on Android, but I thought maybe there's something in using the higher graphics, which is what they were both using. I decided to use the higher graphics, and I just started to get much better times. I don't know if that's related, but it certainly seems like it. There's just something I can't put my finger on, but it just seems like there's something there. Lucky with finishing that Granular Rainstorm. Not too bad, actually. We did quite well there. But yeah, oh, sorry, never mind, not Granular Rainstorm. We already did that one. It was the next one. So we're on 14,000 score. We've just got 2,000 left to go. 2 more areas. So Red Bull's just as annoying as they were before. We'll go this way. Oh, hello. Normally we'll go left there and just hit the the lines on the ground, but apparently we're not. Apparently we're gonna hit the wall. We'll go this way. And here we're gonna try and take these longer ramps. Now, the ramps are a little bit weird. Yeah, there we go, we're just making it. That one seems like it's kind of sloped upwards a little bit. If they're sloped backwards, oh, I did not hold the button. That's fine. If they're, yeah, so if they're sloped differently, that's sort of how you can get stuck if you have really precise speed going into it. You can just sort of go back and forth. There is a tilt mechanic in the game, but it's not able to be activated. The game will just do it itself. So often, if you're on a ramp stuck like that, it will notice, but not always. And that's why it's sort of worth hanging around for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds just to make sure whether it will activate that mechanic or not. So we're coming into the final area now. We're almost done. Oh. And this is actually really close to what would have been a PB. My PB before my actual PB now was a 25:02. So we could bop my second best time. And that's surprising considering I played every mini game. Like, this was a very safe run. So I would be really happy with that.
Yeah, I feel like this has been quite a comprehensive showcase. I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, it's really just from doing 2 laps. It really adds so much to the game, and it's so strange because it's literally the exact same game, but the time management adds so much to it.
Oh, yeah.
Normally we would just come through, and timing's coming up, by the way, and time.
GG.
Thanks. Yeah. So it adds so much to the game. Any percent we just go straight through.
Yeah, and still with like 300 seconds to spare as well. That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm surprised there was that much left, judging by how the start was going. But I'm super happy with that. But yeah, so great to show that.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for showing it off. I know you just mentioned that there were some Android runners out there, and well, there are just runners out there in general. If folks are interested in picking this game up, maybe picking the speedrun up, where can they best find, the information for that?
Yeah, so there is a mobile speedrunning Discord. There isn't really that much documentation out there. I'll just go to the menu there. So there is a mobile speedrunning Discord. If you go on most mobile games, you'll be able to find the Discord link. PinOut's not massive there, but if you just ping me, I'll try and answer any questions. And I'm trying to get a guide out soon for any percent because I feel like it will be a lot more welcoming if there were guides out there. Really, the only way to get into this game is just to play and optimize yourself. You can look at other speedruns and see what they do, and obviously for the major skips in Area 3 and Area 5, that will be quite important. But yeah, really, there's just been so much activity with this game recently. World record got pushed to below 7 minutes recently. There's now 2 runners that have that. It's absurd. It also relies on getting pushed twice, so that's a 4% chance on the RNG. That's something I'm not that happy with grinding right now, so if anyone's got an RNG manip, hit me up, because I need it. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say. I just want to shout out my community on Twitch as well, because they really just jumped on this game. This is one of the only normal games I run. I run a lot of games that don't have end objectives, and to see everyone just jump onto this straight away, it was fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome. And oh my gosh, I've just seen your personal best is very, very close to that 24,000 that you're looking for.
Yeah, so 22,768, yeah, that is in the menu. It does show that there. So yeah, I'm super close, and really all I would have needed optimally is about another 60 seconds. Now, I do go into the area of overtime with over 1,000 seconds. So it is possible with that amount of time, but it's just really difficult. I would need to play on 2 really, really good no power-ups, 80% runs in a row after doing that. So it's just an absurd category to run.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much. You were talking about your Twitch community. Speaking of Twitch, where could people find you on Twitch?
Yep, so you can find me on twitch.tv/smmidi, so SMMIDI. We do a lot of different speed runs, as we were saying, quite unconventional games, games with not really a set ending. We also do quizzes sometimes as well, if that's your thing. And yeah, that is about it really.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing that off and closing off our special Mobile Mania going places. Hopefully not the last, because I think there's, you know, a lot of people often look down on mobile gaming, and I don't think they should, because there's some awesome games out there to be showcased. Who knows? Maybe we'll cash in on the Subway Surfers hype, and maybe. If there was something relevant for that would be funny to show off. But yeah, no, great run. Thank you for showing that off. And everybody, that is going places for the evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't go away, because Hotfix does not stop there. We are going to be having Think Fast just after this. And if my Discord would behave, I can tell you that we are going to be having Stardew Valley with the runners Black Heartwings and the Valiant Sun. They're going to be doing glitchless seeded CC. That doesn't really mean all too much to me, but if it means something to you, you should definitely catch that, because that's going to be on after this. So don't go far away, because in about 5-10 minutes or so you'll see that. But that was Going Places. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 2 weeks time, but until then, enjoy the rest of the Hotfix action that Games Done Quick have on for you. See you soon.